Hey, what's up guys, Ricky Bush Racing here. Today I'm giving my review of the Thrustmaster TS-PC. I've had it for a couple of months now and I feel I have enough time with it to give my impressions on what it's like. But bear in mind, this is my second wheel. First one was the Thurstmaster T-150. I have since then also spent some time on other wheels, some Fanatic stuff and yeah, a couple of other wheels, but I never tried a direct drive wheel, so keep that in mind. So let me start off by saying it isn't cheap. It really has that hardcore price tag. Here in Sweden I paid $650 for it, and that's without pedals. It doesn't come with pedals. It was still a pretty good option for me since I already own the T3PA Thrustmaster pedals, so I didn't need pedals anyway. But for anyone who wants the complete set, it's just you need to buy pedals for another $200 or $100 if you want the T3PA. But this wheel is the sister of the TSXW, which is the one with the Sparko rim that's compatible with Xbox. It's the same base, just a different rim. I don't know the exact differences between this wheel and the newly released Thrustmaster TGT, the Gran Turismo Sport wheel. But I bet the base is very similar, even though it's probably upgraded. So I thought I'd split up this little review here in pros and cons. So let's start off with what I actually like about the Thrustmaster TS-PC. Let me start off with the build quality and the materials used. It feels terrific. The materials feels terrific. The base feels very solid. I really like the look of the cooling vents on the side and the bolts that you can see on the side here that aren't hidden away behind some plastic. It really looks and feels expensive. So now on to the actual rim itself, and it looks pretty special. A lot of weird color choices, but it actually helps out under races, and when you're mapping buttons, it really helps. But I didn't know if I was going to put the rim in the pro category here, because it's not really a pro, it's somewhere in between. I like it and sometimes I don't. You know, I mostly drive GT cars, and sure, they have these kinds of rims in real life as well, but it feels more like a Formula rim. It's perfectly sized though. It's 28 centimeters in diameter, which is the perfect size for a rim like this. But at times I can have a hard time reaching the buttons and the overall positioning of buttons on this wheel or this rim could have been better. The hand grips though feel really good after a long session. That's probably my favorite part about this rim. It also feels very solid with zero flex. The paddle shifters behind the wheel is the best I felt on the wheels I've tried. But that might be a personal preference thing, since I like Thrustmaster shifting pedals. And of course the TS-PC is a part of the Thrustmaster ecosystem, so you could easily switch out the rim for, let's say, the 599 Alcantara rim, which I plan on buying in the near future. There's also a lot of cool new Sparko rims coming out, so yeah, a bright rim future, I guess. The weirdest part of the TS-PC and the TSXW and the Thrustmaster TGT has to be the power supply. It looks like a turbo, a cheesy turbo, and it's a lot heavier than you would think. But who cares what it looks like, right? I have it zip tied to my wheel stand. It looks alright. Not in love with the looks though. So now let's move on to the most important aspect of every sim racing wheel, and that's the force feedback. And first off, let me say there's enough power in this thing and then some. When I first drove it in iRacing, I almost broke my wrist when I spun for the first time. It's just really powerful, and from what I've read, it's about 50% stronger than the T300 and about as strong as the T500. Another thing that really stands out from the force feedback from other wheels I've tried is the clarity in the force feedbacks. It's just so good. Every little bump in the road or every curb you touch, you feel it through the wheel, and it feels awesome. It's also very smooth, even with the force feedback way up. I didn't notice any clipping at all. I just love the force feedback overall, and it's definitely the best I've tried. Then again, I haven't tried the direct drive wheels, I'll bet they're better, but at the same time they're on a completely different price range as well. So now on to another debated question. Do you actually get faster with higher end gear? And my answer is yes, you do. And for me it's pretty simple. It's maybe not as much over, let's say, a qualifying lap or one lap, but for race pace, definitely, yeah, it is. And that's because higher end equipment give you better feedback to what the car is doing on the track, which gives you more confidence and allows you to push harder without making a mistake. And I can't prove this with any numbers, but I remember my first race with this wheel. I won a IMSA race in iRacing, and sure, I won before, but it still felt like the TS-PC had a lot to do with that. So now that we got the pros out of the way, let's move on to what I actually don't like about the Thrustmaster TS-PC. Of the fan is pretty noisy. I'm probably gonna sound pretty picky here, but under long sessions, even though if you have your headphones on, you barely hear it, but after long session, when it gets hot, you can actually hear the fan, and it almost sounds like there's something wrong with it. And I'm gonna see if I can put in a clip and you see if you actually hear it here. But then again, that's not a major issue. That's not something that should deter you from buying the TS-PC. I'm also going to put the rim in the con section, because the buttons can be pretty hard to find during races. Also, I would have liked to see Thrustmaster selling this base with another wheel, maybe the 599 Alcantara, or even some of the new Sparko rims. I know if you own an Xbox, you could have bought the TSXW, but it didn't exist when I bought this one. But I would have preferred the regular rim, so maybe it doesn't deserve to be in the con section, but the price is a bit over the top. I mean, at least put some pedals in for $650. I know it's cheaper in North America, it's around $500, but for that amount of money, you should probably include pedals. It didn't bother me, but I can see why it bothers other people who want the complete set and have to spend another $150 on pedals. So that brings us to the conclusion of this video. I really had to think hard to come up with cons for this wheel. So yeah, I love this wheel, mostly because I enjoy racing that much more than I did with my old wheel. It just feels like you have better control over the car and what it's doing. The rim is sexy and feels awesome in your hands. The base looks good, just an overall good wheel, but still in my opinion it's a bit overpriced. But then again, if you look at what your options are, it's not that expensive at the end of the day. I never regretted buying it for a second, and that really says it all. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.